All right, so once we have our title block open, what we need to go ahead and do is place our part that we're trying to create a working drawing for. In the top left-hand corner, what you'll do is you'll find this base button, and I'm in the Place Views tab. If you're not in the Place Views tab and you're in one of these other ones, all you need to do is go ahead and select the Place Views tab, and you will find that base button. So once you press base, you're going to get this dialog box. And the first thing that you're going to need to do is select the file that you want to use in order to create your working drawing. So I'm going to come over here to open existing file. It's this little folder with the magnifying glass on it so that I can search for the file that I want to use. And in this tutorial video, I'm going to use the yellow part. So I'm going to select my file and I'm going to press open. And then what it's going to do is it's going to give you the pathway on how to find that file, and it's also going to give you a preview of what that file looks like. So I'm going to go ahead and move my box over here so you can see my working drawing a little bit better. And we also have in this dialog box a style section. So we have a style where your drawings are going to show you hidden lines. You're going to have a style option where you do not see hidden lines, and you're going to have a style option that is shaded. And I'll kind of go through and show you what each of these look like. And then the other section that we're going to use is scale. Right now my part is drawn at full scale, but if you come down and click the little arrow, it's going to give you different options to go through and select if you need to make your parts bigger or smaller depending on what we are modeling. So first things first is we are going to set up our title block and the drawings like we would for our orthographic drawings. And so I'm going to move my front view. If I just click and drag it down to the bottom bottom left-hand corner, and then I drag my mouse up, I'm going to get this little green dashed line that gives me a preview on kind of the overall width and the overall depth of my top view and where that is going to be placed. So as soon as I'm happy with my location of my little preview box, I'm going to left click, and the computer is going to place that part or that view for me. I'm going to come back to my front view, and then I'm going to come over, and my right side view is also going to give me a little bit of a preview. Again, with that green dashed line. Once I'm happy with the location, I'm going to left click again, and it's going to go ahead and place the right side view for me. And what we also need for our multi-view drawings, as we found out a few days ago in our notes, is that you need an isometric view. So I'm going to come to the top right-hand corner, and I'm going to left click, and it's going to place my isometric view for me. Now, in order to place all these parts or all these views and features, we can't just like press the escape button because everything's going to delete off the page. So what we need to do is right click and press OK, or you can press the enter key, which is why it's in parentheses. All right, so what's going to happen once you press OK or the enter key is that dialog box is going to disappear on you. All right, now I told you I was going to give you an idea of what our hidden lines and not hidden lines and shaded look like. This part specifically will not have any hidden lines, so I can't show you that feature, but I will go ahead and show you that in a different tutorial video. Actually, if I double click, that dotted line is going to pop up again, and right now my hidden lines are removed. But if I go to my style with the hidden line, if I select that and I press OK, the hidden lines will actually go ahead and show up on my isometric view to show more of a 3D representation that is transparent so you can see through it. We don't ever want to use our hidden lines on our isometric view for what we're doing in class, so I'm going to go ahead and turn those off. But what I like to see, and this is just a personal preference, is I like to see my isometric view shaded. So if I select the shaded option and press OK, it's going to go ahead and color that part for me so that it's shaded like it was in my IPT file or my inventor part file. right, I don't like the location of this. I think it's a little bit too low because if I want to put a dimension on my right side view for the depth here, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to click that dotted red line and I'm just going to drag my part up a little bit so that it's a little bit more tucked in the corner. I'm a little bit happier with the placement. Again, that way if I want to put a dimension here in my right side view, I have room to go ahead and do that. Your top, your front, and your right side views, you can also hover over and it's going to give you that red dashed or dotted line. If you double click on those parts or those features, again, you can change the style or the scale, but for what I have right now, I'm happy with this. Another thing I'd like to go ahead and talk about is I can rotate my view cube in the preview and change the orientation. All right, now this is what my front view looks like, but if you didn't create your parts on the correct plane when we were modeling our IPT, your views might be a little out of whack or orientation. And so you can use the arrows on the view cube, you can rotate it left or right if you want to. I mean, you could even press the home button and it's going to match your isometric view. But you always want to make sure that you are setting up your views in the correct orientation for your multi-views. Otherwise, the entire drawing is going to be incorrect. So once you have your views in the correct orientation, notice how the width dimensions line up. Notice how your height dimensions line up like they're supposed to. And if we were to take this and create our 45-degree angle line, our depth dimensions would also line up. Okay. So we're still practicing the same concepts as we normally do in Inventor, but or in our drawings, but now we're just applying them in Inventor. All right. So notice over in your browser bar that it's also going to keep track of your different views. So let's do that one more time. I'm going to select everything, delete everything. And I'm just going to show you a little bit faster. So we're going to come to base. We're going to select our file. You do not need to follow along with me. Oops. I'm going to press open. I'm going to place my front view. I'm going to place my top view. I'm going to place my right side view. I'm going to place my isometric view. I'm going to right click and press OK. I would like my isometric view to be shaded, so I'm going to double click on it. Select the shaded feature. I'm going to keep my scale 1:1, and that is how you create your parts layout for your multi-view drawings. In the next video, we'll go over how to dimension once you have your setup laid out properly.